Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bedtime with Tomi. This evening we'll be reading chapter 23, Clara's Point of View. At 6:30 that evening, Michael and David arrived in a black Range Rover to escort her to the theater. David let out a wolf whistle. "You look beautiful, Claire Bear." Her eyes went wide as he eyed her gown and her smile. "You clean up pretty nicely yourself," Clara joked. "What's with the name?" "Claire Bear?" He cleared his throat and adjusted his bow tie. "It's a name that I've been calling you in my head since the night of the performance. I hope you don't mind." "Claire Bear," she repeated. "I've never had a nickname before. I like it." He let out a fake sigh of relief and slid into the back seat of the car. Sitting next to him, she was fully able to appreciate the way David's form-fitting black tuxedo accentuated his swimmer-like physique. It wasn't lost on her that he had a purple pocket square complementing her dress. "I didn't even know you and Mom would be shopping this morning, or else I would have warned you that she doesn't do anything by halves. When she shops, it's for a complete head-to-toe outfit." He touched the layered ends of Clara's dark brown hair. "I used to look for every possible excuse when I was younger to try and get out of it. I felt like a doll. I didn't want to admit it, but I really enjoyed it. Growing up, my mom never liked shopping. She left everything up to me, except when it came to finding a tutu for a competition or a performance." Clara smiled. "Your mother is very kind. She really went to town trying to make sure that everything I picked up was something I liked." "I'm glad." David stared out the window. "Did my mother happen to speak to you about the media that will be present tonight, too?" "She did." Clara's jaw clenched. "I'm not too happy about it, but I understand it's one of the necessary evils that come with the territory of you being you." He grimaced. "It makes me feel guilty knowing that I'm about to feed you to a sea of hungry sharks." "Actually, your mom came up with a pretty amazing cover story." Clara relaxed. "Princess Charlotte said that her office is going to put out a press release this afternoon announcing the expansion of her dance education charity. It's going to start offering scholarships to students in the US and Canada to be able to come and study with the Westminster Ballet at the upper school. My presence tonight as a dancer from LABT signals the kickoff of their partnership. The first dancer to receive a scholarship is from LABT's academy. Mom put a lot of thought into this." He stroked his jaw. "I'm ecstatic she did. That young dancer who's receiving the scholarship, Chloe, is one of the sweetest, hardest-working kids you'll ever meet. She danced with me in the Nutcracker the last 2 years. I've watched her turn from a baby ballerina into such a promising junior." "You glow when you speak about her. You're smiling so bright, I thought I might need a pair of sunnies." At the Royal Opera House, the car arrived at the underground garage. David walked to the trunk of the car and opened it. "Can you manage with the crutches and that dress, or would you prefer the wheelchair?" "For this, let's do the wheelchair. I'm afraid that I'll step on the bottom of the dress and tear it." She touched the silky fabric. "We can't have that now, can we?" "No, absolutely not," David agreed. "At least by next week, Dr. Evans said I'll be ready to use a walking boot. Apparently, I'm a fast healer." David's security team met them at the elevator and escorted them to the front entrance of the opera house. Clara drummed her fingers against the armrest of the chair. "We'll try and get through the photo call as quickly as possible. I'll have George push you, and we'll be right behind you. Know that in my head I'll be holding your hand tightly, but in public I won't show any affection. It's one of my only ways of protecting you." Butterflies fluttered in her stomach. "I understand." George pushed her along at a slow, even pace, pausing every few meters so she could pose for the photographers. One or two members of the media asked her name and snapped her photo. The majority, however, barely acknowledged her presence. For that, Clara was thankful. When she reached the edge of the carpet, George whisked her inside. "Well done, Miss Little." Clara held up her hand and George looked at her. "It's for a high five." "Ah." He tapped her hand softly with his. "We'll keep working on that." "Yes, miss." He rolled her over to the window where she watched David preparing to make his walk. He stood with his chin lifted and shoulders pulled back, posture rigid. "Leeds looks like he's been given the news that he's to march to the tower," George said with amusement. "I would have thought he'd be a great actor at faking it for the camera." "Leeds? Never. Is a horrible actor. Remind me to show you the video proof sometime, George snorted. Appearing in public is his worst nightmare. He'll never be at ease in front of a camera, unless he's the one taking the photo. They both watched as his appearance caused a frenzy. Cameras galore photographed him from multiple angles. The flashes were so bright it made the dark night appear to be almost daylight. She understood why celebrities opted for sunglasses. The press screamed his name, baiting him. David has to go through this every time he's out in public as the Duke of Leeds. I can only imagine how difficult it must have been growing up as an introvert. She knew David had a choice. He could have easily told his mother that he didn't wish to come tonight and put himself on display for the media to go wild over, but he'd agreed to come. Her insides melted, as if a person had taken hot fudge and poured it into it in ice cream sundae. He's here for me. Inside the lobby of the Opera House, Clara relished being a spectator at the ballet instead of being a performer. This is so much grander than what we have in LA. Our lobby looks like a movie theater, but this is a proper performance venue. There was a dedicated coat check area, a full-service bar and snack area set up with tables and chairs, and even a gift shop. LABT only sold programs and candy to their patrons. Would you care for any refreshments, Miss Little, while you wait for Leeds? George asked. Oh, a glass of champagne would be lovely. Coming right up. He settled her in a private room and excused himself. Clara took her time to crack open the cover of a glossy bound program. Yet another thing the Westminster Ballet excels at, she said to herself. And what do we excel at? A man's voice questioned. Clara jerked in her chair. She rolled backwards and answered. Mr. Williamson. Apologies, Miss Little. I didn't mean to startle you. The artistic director of the Westminster Ballet approached her. He wore a navy window pane printed suit and wire-rimmed spectacles. Your program. I love that it's filled with the ballet's history, interesting facts, has a bow for every dancer in the company. Yes, it is something I'm rather proud of. He took an empty chair across from her and seated himself. They shook hands. You look lovely tonight. Clara's pulse slowed to a normal pace. Thank you, sir. I won't keep you too long. He crossed one leg over the other. I wanted to commend you on your exquisite dancing during the gala. It's been a week, and you still have me thinking about how you portrayed Aurora. She chewed her lip. Thank you. He caught her eye. I wanted to inquire if the Princess Royal had spoken with you. She did, yesterday. And may I ask if you had some time to consider her words? Not really. It was a little crazy, but I'd be a fool to close any doors here. Sir, Mr. Williamson, she sat taller. I'm flattered that I'm even in the running of dancers you're considering hiring. He appraised her like an owl. And? Can you envision yourself dancing opposite Anton? Sir, I think any dancer would leap at the chance. She swallowed hard. I'll tell you what I told the princess. I'm happy to keep my options open, but right now I have no plans to leave LABT. The bell rang, signaling the performers to prepare to take their seats. I appreciate your honesty, Mr. Williamson nodded. He stood and brushed off his trousers. They shook hands once more. Enjoy your evening, Miss Little. If you ever change your mind for you, the door is always open. He walked toward the door, passing David and George. Was that Mr. Williamson? David glanced over his shoulder. Yeah, he wanted to see if her mother was here to say hello. She crossed her fingers behind her back. It took you a long time out there. George passed her a light gold-colored glass, fizzing to life with bubbles. You don't know the half of it. Just as I thought I was in the clear and was on my way up to you, the Opera House director cornered me for a chat. David pushed her to the elevator, and they rode up to the royal box just as the house lights were being lowered and the audience hushed. The orchestra picked up their instruments, and the conductor entered, and a moment later, the overture began. After the final note, the audience leapt to their feet in appreciation and applauded loudly. David and Clara watched the first of 4 curtain calls. Afterward, they were escorted down via private elevator to the back of the stage as the audience continued to clap. The audience relented after 8 more bows, and the exhausted performers cheered and congratulated each other after the curtain closed. The LABT never had curtain calls like that. Were the audience like this every night? Feeding off an electric crowd like this would certainly elevate her dancing to the next level. Backstage, the dancers let their guards down, and Evelyn went from stage posture and smiles to relaxed and neutral facial expressions. Mr. Williamson introduced everyone to David, while Clara remained off to the side and waited patiently for Anton and Evelyn to make their way over to her. Clara Little in the flesh. Anton flashed a tired but warm smile. It's nice to put a name to the face. I'm Evelyn. Anton has told me so many good things about you. The dark-haired Welsh dancer exchanged greetings with Clara. Everything is true, she joked in mock seriousness. You two were fantastic tonight. I should return the compliments, Anton chimed in, mopping his sweaty forehead. I showed Evelyn the video of you dancing Kichu from a Don Q performance we found on the internet. She was quite taken with you. How are you doing? I'm on the mend. It's a dancer's fracture on the 4th and 5th metatarsals. I'll be in a walking boot and back on point before you know it. I need to thank you for everything you did at the on Gala night. I don't think I would have been able to make it through the entire performance. Evelyn popped into the conversation. Anton here is one of the best partners we could ask for. I do hope we might see more of you in the future. You would fit in well here. Clara squirmed in discomfort and studied the ground at being complimented by such a star dancer. The three chatted for a few more minutes before both performers rushed off to their dancing rooms to change and remove makeup. Was the universe trying to send her a signal that the Westminster Ballet should be her home? There was also the David thing to consider, too. Whatever was going on between them was complicated. Her gaze traveled to her golden prince, who chatted animatedly with Mr. Williamson. The time she spent with him, the more time she spent with him, the more she wondered what was going to happen when her fairy tale came to an end. Was there a chance they had a future together? So that was the end of chapter 23. We will move on to David's point of view in the next chapter. I just wanted to mention that looking back, I did take inspiration for this from the Royal Opera House, and it was interesting for me to think a lot about how a dancer or an outsider would react to the royals and all of the media attention the world places on them. I think we've all been very aware of what happened with the Princess of Wales when she went through her cancel battle and disappeared from, well, everywhere for a few months as she received treatment. And there was so much media attention to it and conspiracy theories, and it was just a lot of that, I mean, I wrote this before that happened, but that frame of thinking got me thinking, what would happen to be on one side and the other? How would an insider view it? And for someone like David, who is an introvert, how is it that he's able to put on such a strong outward appearance despite being so uncomfortable with the media attention? So just some food for thought. It's really interesting as an author to be able to live in your characters' heads and just to think about what they would think and how to see the world through their eyes. And a lot has changed from the first version of Clara David's story to the updated version. So once again, I hope you enjoyed hearing the reading and just hearing a few thoughts that I have on it. And I do hope that you enjoy these videos. I enjoy making them, and I hope I'm coming across as a little bit more comfortable in the camera. The more we do this, the more I just feel a little bit more natural and able to have a conversation with you. So yeah, I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your evening. If you want to read ahead, you know what to do. If you pick up a physical copy, you also know where that can be done. The link for everything is listed in the bio, and I will see you guys next time.